Alright, it is now June 14th, 2012, and I've been at work all day. That's what I did today. I was at work, and I'm about to go change out of my work clothes and kind of veg out for the rest of the evening, take a shower, wash my hair, do things like that. Spend some time on Tumblr, work on my friend's birthday present. Anyways, but today at work was kind of interesting. Basically, I work at a place where I give tours all day, and what they do is I get to work in the morning, and then they take me to the building in which I give my speeches, and then I'm abandoned there all day, and then once the day is over, they retrieve me, and I clock out and go home. And so today, while I was in the building where I'm abandoned at, where I give my speeches about, history and the history of the particular building and what's going to happen in this building, what's going on now in that building, I got a group from Poland, and apparently they were part of a radio station, and I was broadcast live on Polish radio. It was kind of interesting because at the time I didn't know. I just thought it was some girl with a microphone and a audio recorder. I thought she was recording me for some reason. I'm like, okay, fine, sure. But afterwards it was like, oh, what's your name? So that way the people listening to this back home can know it, and we know who you are. And I'm like, say what? And apparently I was broadcast live on Polish radio. So that was a rather interesting experience today. That's never really happened to me before, and believe me, a lot of stuff has happened to me while I was giving tours. Everything from people standing up and storming out, to screaming children, to women just whipping out their lady bits and breastfeeding their children right there in front of me, which also happened today, which is mildly disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, all last semester, or the semester before last actually, I had a voice teacher who would breastfeed her child in front of me, and I had no problem with that because one, she asked, and two, she had no other place she could do it, and three, she covered up. I never saw anything, but some of the times these women just whip it out right in front of you, and I understand your child is hungry, and I understand it's a bonding moment between you and me, but I personally would not want to breastfeed my child in front of people, unless I knew them personally. But in a room full of strangers, when someone is trying to talk to you about stuff, I feel it's just slightly inappropriate. I honestly think that you should, one, either get up and leave the room to somewhere that's more secluded and then get the little vanity blanket over and cover yourself with it, or two, just wait until you get home or get a bottle for situations like this. That's all I'm saying, but it's your deal, and please don't shout at me for saying that. Anyways, so that was my interesting day at work. And apparently Tumblr's exploded, or at least the Hitalia Tumblr has exploded slightly, I don't know. Apparently someone has found pictures of Himura, the writer of Italia, and like actual pictures of him, and he's like model gorgeous. Or at least my 14-year-old self would have thought he's model gorgeous. No, he's really, really good looking man, but I guess my taste in men has changed in between when I was 14 and worshipping El Arc-en-Ciel to now all these British men that I quite like to look at. So yeah, and it's kind of interesting. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just go onto Tumblr and type in Hima Papa into your tag searches, and you will find it's exploded. So, because let's face it, for the last 6 months, ever since, Himura dropped off the face of the planet, the Italia fandom has been sitting in its corner, rocking back and forth, going through withdrawal systems, and the rest of the fandoms have been kind of doing this number. Like, should we say something? And everyone's like, shh, it might explode. And occasionally another fandom will go over and go, are you okay? And so this is like the closest thing we've got to exploding, because to us it's still Christmas, or at least that's what I can understand. So that's what's going on Tumblr. And that's kind of all I have to say for right now. I mean, I've got some other things I gotta do. I've got to start going through my stuff and figuring out what the hell I'm going to take to college with me, because I'm going to be moving into a dorm. And I've never actually lived in a dorm before. I've never actually lived out of my house before. And so it's a kind of a scary, exciting process. And I'll be honest with you, the only thing I'm really afraid of is getting the slut roommate. I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but that's the only thing that I'm really afraid of. That, or turning out to being the crazy one. But if you're the crazy one, you set the rules. But frankly, if I end up getting like a roommate who does the whole flavor of the week thing, and I come back to the room constantly, and it's like, oh, I'm having relations with this boy, and I didn't bother to warn you. If that's what's going to happen, I'm not going to care. I'm just going to barge right into it because it's my room too, and I live there as well. And frankly, if you cannot respect that, I'm not going to respect your right to privately screw whomever you choose to screw. And so, yeah. And frankly, I'm an artist. I've been in live drawing classes. Your nudity does not offend me. When it takes me a good 5 minutes after... Okay, this is a rather embarrassing story, but I'm going to go ahead and tell it now. I was scrolling down Tumblr one day. As I was scrolling down Tumblr, I saw some fan art, and it was Sherlock fan art, and you can probably see where the shape of the story is going, but anyways, here I go. So I'm looking at it, and my first thought is, wow, that person drew that shoulder really well. Like, the anatomy and all this is just so awesome. And the perspective that John has in this, oh, it took me a good, like, 5 minutes to realize that it was a picture of Sherlock and John doing that. But I was so enamored with the anatomy of this drawing that it took me that long to figure out what the hell they were doing in that picture, because I was just so in awe of it and its anatomy. And I'm like, this is awesome, and oh, this is what they're doing. Still really good picture. I ended up saving it to my file anyways. So, walking in on two people doing the horizontal tango is not gonna bother me. Thank you, fanfiction and fandoms and everything else that goes on Tumblr, for just completely desensitizing me to this. So that's kind of my biggest fear about going off to college and not being at home anymore. I mean, I won't be able to wake up and just walk into their kitchen and go, oh look, there's milk here magically when there was none last night. Because I'm becoming more of an adult now. I mean, I scared my mother today when I came home and noticed beer in the fridge and say, hey mom, is it okay if I have a beer? Because guess what? I'm 21 years old now. I can legally drink alcoholic beverages and not get in trouble for it. And I kind of gave my mom pause, and she went, oh, yes, that's fine. I forget that you're 21, almost 22, and I'll be 22 in August. So, yeah. That's what's kind of on my mind right now. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching me ramble today, if you've watched it. And if you want me to talk about certain subjects, if you have questions for me, I'll answer them in the next video. Just leave them in my Ask box on Tumblr, or the comments below in the doobly-doo on YouTube, or in LiveJournal. And once again, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.